Neptune transit Venus. This very rare transit, which happens once in 55 or 60 to 65 years in the life of a person, which is like once, it is basically once in a lifetime transit, rarely twice in a lifetime transit. And the transit that Neptune does to Venus, which you will feel significantly and which will very much change and influence your life, or when Neptune is making a conjunction to Venus, passing exactly 0 degrees over the position of Venus in your horoscope, when it's passing opposite Venus, 180 degrees from the position of Venus. And when it's passing 90 degrees from Venus, which is called the square. And these are the 3 types of aspects Neptune does to Venus, which will be strongly felt in your life. And as I said, they're very rare, once in 50, 60 years they happen. So this will be one of the most memorable period in relationships to Venus affairs. And what is Venus? Venus is, first of all, is relationships. Everyone knows that through Venus, Venus is the planet of love, of relationships, of the heart chakra, how we open ourselves to others. And what Neptune does, it dissolves. Neptune wants you to somehow create very strong longings in the area of this life. So you're longing for something higher, to a higher expression of this. So you'll be longing for a higher expression of love. If, for instance, you were used to more, if love till now in your life was expressed in some way, now Neptune will spiritualize this expression of love, will make it much more poetic. So this is considered one of the most romantic periods in a person's life, when he craves for a higher love, for a more refined love, for a poetic love, or as people call it, soulmateship love. And the person that you can meet during this period can very well turn out to be a soulmate. I've seen often this happen. And that you have, and it's not so much a sexual raw energy, Neptune, not at all. It's a spiritualizing soulmateship energy, and it doesn't have, and often Neptune might not even allow this relationship to happen on a physical level. It just, you might bring you someone that you can idealize, so they can refine your love feelings, so it can be a bit of a painful period for a lot of people, because they need to, Neptune is the high expression of love. It's unconditional divine love. Neptune is the love that we experience in the afterworld, the divine love, which it's very hard actually when you experience it on Earth, because Earth is a dense matter. Earth, the three-dimensional life, it's very hard to realize such divine impulses and to realize such longings for divine love, which Neptune brings, to realize unconditional love, because everything on earth is conditional, especially our relationships. If you do this for me, I'll do this for you. This is what we say. If you do this, I'll love you. If you don't do it, I will punish you. And Neptune craves, when Neptune aspects Venus, for much higher expression of love, for one where you're sacrificing everything, for where the people are one, where you long for merging with the other person, so that there are no boundaries between the two of you. So you're dropping down your protective walls. So you're much more willing to embrace someone with their weaknesses and with their negative sides. So this is one difficulty of this period, because people might take advantage of you, because you're really much in this sacrificial state of mode, and you're saying, I don't care, I want to love this person, I'm going to give everything from myself, and I'm going to sacrifice everything, I want to experience this higher love. So you're giving from yourself more, you're idealizing the other person more. And if this person is not very much spiritually attuned and sensitive, gentle person, they can actually use you, they can use your kindness, and they can really disillusion you. Also, Neptune makes you see the other through rose-colored glasses, or even if you realize what their weaknesses are, you either don't realize them, you see what you want to see with Neptune, because Neptune has a quality of a fog, or you only what, even if you see the weaknesses, you say to yourself, well, I'll be a martyr, I'll accept him, I'll change this person, I'll fix him, I'll improve him, I'll be the savior. Neptune has a very much of Jesus Christ qualities. Neptune is the planet of Pisces, which is the sign of Christianity. So let me sacrifice myself for you, let me be a martyr for you. So during this period you might have much more such inclinations for love, or even if it's not for love for a man or a woman, it can be for another human being, even if it's a friendship, even if it's just human relationship. You're much more in sacrificial, helpful, giving mode. And just be aware that you don't attract people who are playing victim, or who you think you feel like you have to save, so you end up disappointed because you project an idealized image on them. And also a person can not project this image, but they can feel the victim themselves in a love affair. They can feel like, oh, I'm so helpless, I'm so sensitive, they're taking advantage of me and I'm so hurt. Oh God, why is it like that? And you go and complain to everyone. You're the martyr, you're tolerating all those negative things coming from your partner, all this abuse, or all this delusion coming from your partner, all this lying and cheating, and you might be in the position of a martyr yourself during this period. And another manifestation is that Neptune, because it's a fog, it's very possible that if you're in a committed relationship, for instance, you realize that you've been cheated, that the partner, or not cheated, or the partner have been withholding truth to you, or deluding you, putting fog around, so what you're thinking about your partner right now might be idealized and realistic, or the partner might be projecting such an image about himself. Or even if it's a new person you meet, as I said, he might be someone who is not so trustworthy, or someone that you just choose to project your own high qualities that you envision in your mind, but it's just a mortal human being, and it's actually making the mistakes behind your back, but you don't accept to see them, you refuse to see those, so you end up quite disappointed and disillusioned. And this period, this transit, takes like up to 2 years, 2.5 years, so it's a very long period. So often I've seen even couples, they discover that one of the person is cheating or is withholding something from them, and they end up very disappointed and disillusioned, and they start longing for a more refined, more idealistic, more divine love with someone. And for the lucky ones, they can actually end up meeting this soulmate. And it will be, as I said, a relationship on a much higher level, much more refined, more poetic, more romantic. It's not crude sexuality, and it's a relationship in which you can express divine love. And it can be also a relationship with a person which is much more Neptunian, someone more artistic, more sensitive, more creative, more musical. Love for music increases because Venus is music and Neptune refines and heightens this. Love for art increases for the artistic period. For the artistic people, this can be extremely creative and inspirational time. Even though these inspirations come through the longings which Neptune bring in relationships to love, because often it's unfulfilled, because Neptune is very much about unrequited love. Few of you, when you have Neptune-Venus transit, will be able to get the partner they want. And if you're able to get and keep the partner you want right now, this is a soulmate relationship. It's a special relationship. But most of the people, usually I would say 60 to 70%, they would have some disappointment and disillusionment, and some discontent or some unrequited love, where they're longing for someone from afar, and and they're not able to have this person, but this longing, this unrequited love will refine their spirituality, will refine their solar plexus and their ability to love. It will put their expression of love to a higher degree. They will be longing for a bigger, better love in their life, but it's all about, very much about glamorization of love and seeing it in a much more idealistic state which is almost impossible to exist on earth, and it's like a memory from the higher worlds that we were in the divine world, where love, pure love that Neptune symbolizes, it's possible, while here on earth it's always solid and dirty in some way. But you have this longing to this more higher expression of love, to this more divine love. A lot of you can get very devoted in a relationship, very devoted in the spiritual pursuits. And Venus is devotion, and Neptune is a higher power, is a divine power. So you might get very devoted to spirituality. Sometimes it might happen due to unrequited desires, because Venus also rules desires. And when Neptune is around, they just increase so much those desires, and they're hard to get fulfilled. They're unrequited. So a person starts getting in touch much more with a higher power, because only this higher power is something that you can, is something that can be there for you, you develop love for God, or if you're more spiritual, you definitely have a much more deeper mystical experiences. If you're not spiritual, this transit might awaken divine love and longing for divine love inside you, and some mystical experiences and drive for connection with a power higher than yourself. Neptune increases, as I said, longing, so persons become much more sensitive. Their self, the self value, because Venus also rules self-worth, self-love, how much you value and how much self-worth do you have. And Neptune tends to dissolve this. Whatever it touches, it dissolves it, it sensitizes it, makes it too sensitive. So your self-value either gets dissolved or gets too sensitive. So the person is more inclined, or especially less aware people, and most of us are less aware. 90% of humanity is less aware. We don't have awakened consciousness. So this self-value that we have, will be willing to give ourselves much more to others, and to and even to unworthy people. So your self-worth is diminished, so you're willing to do much more, or to bear much more, as I said, this sacrificial type of behavior that happens, and eventually also to feel more sorry for yourself. So be careful, I'm just warning you, so you're aware of this, so you don't succumb too much to the negative sides of this transit. And Venus is also our ability to evaluate and to take decisions about worldly matters, because Venus is this quality that we have of deciding what is worthy and what is not worthy. For instance, is it worthy to put all my effort in this relationship? Even though I know this guy is married, or even though I know this guy has a girlfriend, but he's sending me the signals, and he's amazing, and he feels like my soulmate. Should I go with him, or should I go with, or is it worth it putting all my energy in this relationship, or should I stay away? And Venus takes those big decisions in life. Venus makes decisions about everything, even should I wear a red dress or a blue dress. All the decisions you make, Venus evaluates it. What is worth? Are you gonna pay much more, or are you gonna give equally? With a good Venus, you will give equally. You would not take something which will cost you much more. For instance, like going to be in a relationship with someone who is already involved. And Venus will be wise enough. But when Neptune is around, Venus loses its you lose your ability to practically decide which is more worth and which gonna cost you much more. So you're willing to go and into relationships more often, or even to make decisions about anything in your life which will cost you more, which you have to put much more energy and effort and emotional investment than you'll get back. So be careful with that. But at the same time, if you do this consciously and willingly, if you say, okay, I'm gonna do something for my friend of mine, I know I'm not gonna get anything back from it, I know I will, I will give much more. It's more like doing charity work when it's actually meaningful, rather than, hurting yourself with improper relationships or with wrong choices. But if you make a conscious choice to help someone, knowing that you're doing it for him as a smaller brother and sister in spirit, as charitable act, then Neptune period can be extremely positive of those of you to soften their hearts, to give them love to give them more divine love and more compassion for the people next to us, for your friends, for for poor people, for people in need. So it's a fantastic time to go and help such people, to go and get involved with such causes, or just to be more open to helping others, as long as you're consciously deciding to involve yourself in this helping others. And if you know that it's going to actually help them rather than it's going to deprave them, or or it's going to create some more pain, so as I said, charity and helpful behaviors and love for thy neighbor. This is what Jesus Christ talked about. Neptune gives this compassion in your heart. So for people who are especially hard to express their emotions, this Neptune influence has a very softening effect on their hearts, on their heart chakra, on the way they express affection, so they can become much more affectionate and kind, and they can be much more easily open to compassion and to helping others. So it has its very much positive influences, bringing you creativity, bringing you more inspiration, bringing you more, opening your heart chakra and humane love. And if other things along in the horoscope, it can bring you a soulmate relationship. Sometimes it might not be sexual soulmate relationship. Sometimes it might be a more refined, higher soulmate relationship, like finding maybe finding a friend who you have a very refined relationship with, that you together work on your spiritual evolvement and helping each other and supporting each other. And also it's all about charitable and loving the other people and helping them, and compassion. So these are the positive side of Venus, Neptune transit, Neptune Venus transit, and the negative ones, as I said, trying not to victimize yourself, to try and serve others, or to allow others to take advantage of you, and to idealize others too much by becoming martyrs, so to make wrong choices in life by going into situations which you have to pay much more dearly for, and which will not be productive for any of the sides, of the two sides involved. Thank you, and please share with us what were your experiences when you had the Venus transit. Did you have some unrequited love, or some very divine, romantic, inspirational love, or what exactly happened on you? Did you manage to experience more compassion and care and charity towards your close ones? What, even if the period was difficult, what was the lessons you learned when time passed by and you turned back on this period? And usually I just want to warn you that people only become aware of the positive influences of this transit when a few years pass, so they can look back and actually make a proper assessment of the period that was there, and realize why exactly this happened. Why were they so sensitized and sensitive, and why were the things that they attracted, whether it's some kind of a lie in life, or dishonesty, or some kind of idealization or sacrifice, or why did they experience this thing, and they only realize it late in life, because while you're in the fog of Neptune, it's hard to see reality from what you imagine. So people might project images that they want, and give meaning to the situation which is not the true one, and only later on you would realize what is the right, why was the reason you went through this period. And I would just advise you one last thing: when you're going through this period and when you have to make important decisions, always ask a third party which is not partial to your situation to give you an advice what decision to take, because Neptune can make you make some decisions which are not very healthy for you, which are more, as I said, not equal based, that will require much more from you than give you back. So always ask a third party advice, and be sure to take advice. Well, thank you very much, and please share your stories.